Hello, welcome back to the Divided We Fall podcast. I'm Jake.
I'm Greg, and this is not the third time we've done this.
And I'm Lindsay.
Today we're going to be talking about some constitutional amendments that are trying to be passed. Greg, kick us off.
So in Pennsylvania, we have three amendments on the May 18th primary ballot, all of which will be open to anybody who is eligible to vote, whether third party or not, because in Pennsylvania we have a closed primary, so typically third party candidates cannot vote in a regular one, but when there are ballot questions, anybody is allowed to vote. So two of which pertain to the governor's power with emergency declarations. The first ballot question number one, I will post what the full questions in the description, but I'm just going to give a brief overview. It gives the General Assembly, which is the Pennsylvania House and Senate, the power to check the governor when it comes to declaration orders. So if the governor declares a state of emergency or a national emergency, the General Assembly then can either terminate it at any point if it's a unilateral decision, or a simple majority, or extend it if it's a simple majority. This amendment will just give them that power. The second ballot question is similar to the first one, but it only allows for the disaster emergency declaration to last for 21 days. And then every 21 days, on the 22nd day, the General Assembly will have to meet and vote to either extend the state of emergency or terminate the state of emergency. This is a check because Governor Wolf was just extending the state of emergency more and more and more. And the General Assembly was getting frustrated because they felt that this was unconstitutional. He was closing down companies and businesses that, there were larger companies like corporations that were still open. Mm-hmm. So this is supposed to be a check for that. And the third ballot question has nothing to do with the other two, but it just basically states that no laws will be created to discriminate against individuals' races or ethnicity. So the one site that we have pulled up that we will give you, and it has the full question, and you can go into more reading. It is the Easttown Township Democratic Committee. I'm not saying go here and take everything that they say for at face value, but they do give a very good overview, and they send you to the exact website, the Ballotpedia for Pennsylvania, where you can do more research into these questions. Now, the website itself is telling you how to vote. Don't listen to the website. Don't take it just at full face value. Because this is the Democratic Committee. This is a biased source. But it does take you to the unbiased Ballotpedia. We will also link all of the Ballotpedia ones if you are leaning left and you would prefer to see the Democratic Committee's opinion, we'll also have that for you. How do you guys feel? What do you think?
I'm not really sure. I mean, on the one hand, like I said before, or like I've said in general throughout this entire podcast, I'm not a big fan of having to pay for things that I deem unnecessary. And I understand that they want to keep Tom Wolf in check, but I don't want to have to pay for them to reconvene through my own money. So I don't know, maybe they can do a little Zoom call or something, but if they're going in person, I would rather not pay for that.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I personally believe that it's important to have these checks and balances for the governor, because this isn't just going to be for Tom Wolf. This is going to be for the next governor and any other governor in the future. It will put the governor of Pennsylvania in check and make it, less, executive branch orientated like it is now, and make it more kind of a balance between the two branches on this specific issue.
It definitely feels, and it has felt, that Tom Wolf has just been the president of Pennsylvania, left unchecked and no one's been monitoring him. He's like a child. No one's watching what he's doing.
No one's
He
stopping
made a
him.
friend across the way, Rachel Levine.
Well, he's also kind of thrown her under the bus a couple times. But yeah, so I mean, I completely agree. I don't believe that taxpayer money should be going towards them meeting every 21 days for this. But if they're going to be there anyway, like let's say this 21 days, they are going to have a set day where they're going to meet, and it's not just going to be for this specific extension or termination. Like if they're going to meet 21 days and it's going to be like, okay, we're going to first vote, do we extend or terminate the declaration? And let's say they vote to extend it. They vote to extend it. All right, all yays have it. Boom. And then they keep doing stuff, like the entire day. That's not a problem to me because they're going to be there anyway. We're going to be paying for them to be there anyway. And this is only going to be a thing during state of emergencies. So, like, let's say this constitutional amendment passes on May 18th. They amend the Constitution. Then, after however many days, the legislature meets, and then they're probably going to terminate the state of emergency if this ends up passing in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. As soon as they're able to, they're probably going to terminate it. And also in the second one, if they terminate it after the 21 days, the governor can then not redeclare a state of emergency for that emergency unless the General Assembly then overturns their previous termination.
Which is what Tom Wolf has been doing, correct? He's just been going one after another.
Yeah, I think it's like 25 days or something like that. He's just been extending it every 25 days. I can't remember the exact number of days or weeks the declaration lasts, but on the day that it's over, he just keeps extending it.
Yeah.
And that gives him almost uncheckable power. That's one of the major things. Is in a state of emergency or this disaster, the governor basically has unchecked power, unchecked rule. So in a state of emergency, the governor of Pennsylvania basically has uncheckable power. They can basically override the General Assembly, which is in and of itself a very dangerous concept because if the General Assembly can't stop the governor from being in a state of emergency, basically they can just destroy the rule of law if you get somebody in there who wants to do that. Now, I'm not saying Governor Wolf is trying to destroy the rule of law in Pennsylvania. I do believe that Governor Wolf is playing politics. I've said it before, Jacob has said it before, and I will continue to say it. He's playing politics with the American people, or with the people of Pennsylvania, I should say, and businesses and things like that. So this, in my opinion, would be a good check for that. I can understand the whole thing about money and everything, but this will only be during a state of emergency. They will be meeting every 21 days to either extend or terminate, and if they terminate it, then they will not be meeting. So if we're going to have to pay taxes for these people to meet anyway, I think that this is an okay use of tax money, if you know what I mean.
I get that.
Moving on to the third question, I don't think anyone will say no to that. I don't see how anyone can say no to not making laws based on an individual's race or ethnicity.
Yeah, but I feel like I have two thoughts about this. The first thought is it's taking this long to get that.
Yeah, Pennsylvania's only been around since the beginning.
Yeah, to me that's just kind of I don't know. It's disappointing to see.
It should also be just a no-brainer, I assume that the legislature. I am ill-informed on this one, so don't quote me if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure the legislature hasn't, in modern times, written a law, because this is going to stop the legislature from writing laws. This doesn't do anything for businesses, so it doesn't say if you're a business you can't deny so and so from coming in because of their race. That's not this. Now that is already a law, but this is making it so that the government cannot write a law that will infringe upon you because of your race or ethnicity. I don't see how someone can just see that and be like, no. No, not voting for it. Not happening. So how it's going to go, just to clarify these questions, it'll be a yes or no. For ballot question 1, if you support the idea of putting the governor in check and limiting his power, you'd vote yes. If you oppose that, you'd say no. The second one, if you support the General Assembly being able to, stop a declaration of emergency every 21 days or extend it every 21 days, you'd say yes. If you oppose that, you'd say no. The third one, if you think, people shouldn't be able to write laws based on your race or ethnicity, you'd say yes. If you oppose that, you'd say no.
The only way I see someone saying yes to that is if there's like some sort of affirmative action law, which in its own right is racist, but most people don't think affirmative action is racist, which gets to
I did a project on how it's racist.
Yeah, but people don't see it that way.
Yeah. So those are actually on the ballot on May 18th. I also apologize if this seems choppy or kind of all over the place. We have had so many technical issues today. So bear with us. On top of those 3, on March 19th of this year, there has been another constitutional amendment proposed in the General Assembly, which is like the House of Representatives in the state of Pennsylvania, which would eliminate the property taxes in Pennsylvania. So Senator John DeSanto, a Republican from New Bloomfield, and Representative Perry Stambaugh, a Republican from New Bloomfield, said that if Senate Bill 424 and House Bill 927 pass in the 2 consecutive sessions, this would allow voters to decide if the General Assembly should replace the levy, i.e. the tax, with a combination of state and local sales and income taxes. So instead of having property taxes, you would then pay what you would pay in property taxes on increased sales and local income taxes. This is an attempt to help eliminate the property tax on, to also help with elderly individuals. So like, if you own a home and you've lived there your entire life and you've paid off your mortgage, this is going to also help you because you no longer have to pay taxes on that house. Especially if you live in a neighborhood, like if you live in like the Council Rock School District, or if you live in the Neshaminy School District if you're in Bucks County, or if you live in some other really top 50 schools in Pennsylvania. If you live in one of those districts, those are going to be expensive property taxes. Because they take that money. This way, it'll only give a small bump to the local taxes to then help pay for schools, because schools get a lot of their money from property taxes. Yeah. The majority of their money comes from property taxes, I'd say.
This is also enticing to people who are thinking about moving to the suburbs.
Yeah, this is also going to make
out of cities and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is also going to make it easier for individuals to move from, if they hate their life in the city, or even if they hate their life in the suburbs, to move to the city or to out of the city. Mm-hmm. This is going to make owning a home easier. This is going to make a lot of people's lives easier. Now, again, this is literally removing a source of revenue for the government, and giving a small increase on state and local sales taxes and income taxes, which, I mean, if it were up to me, I wouldn't even increase the state and local sales tax. I would just say get rid of the property tax entirely.
Mm-hmm. But they need money, so.
And the Federal Fiscal Office estimates districts collect about $15.1 billion in tax revenue in the current year, and they're expecting this figure to climb to $15.7 billion into 2022. So, some of the people are saying that the regressive tax system creates disparities in education, and it's going to make it harder for low-income neighborhoods to then pay for schools and things like that. I'd argue quite the opposite, actually. I'd say that this is going to entice people to then move to these low-income areas, because the taxes aren't going to be on the homes. People, like, people are going to then invest in these low income areas to then build them up because they're not going to have the property tax on it. They're not going to have that property tax. People can come in and invest.
People coming in, putting money into the system, investing, and then that money going into the schools, making it prosper, and then just kind of cycles through.
Now I know that's a perfect system and a perfect world, but capitalism.
That's how it's supposed to work.
Capitalism will do its thing.
I feel like that could happen, but what I think of when I hear like tax cuts and all that, I immediately think of like the stimulus checks and like nowadays a lot of people are putting that into like things like the stock market, but people are also just saving it and using it to like actually like physically buy things like clothes and I don't know, a PlayStation 5 or something like that. So I feel like this could help, but not as much as you would think. I don't think everybody, or maybe even a majority of people, would end up investing that money that they've gotten back, technically, from these tax cuts.
Well, I'm not necessarily saying, like, because of the tax cuts and people are going to be having more money, they're going to then invest. I'm saying because there's no tax on the land that people will be buying. So, like, if I bought, a couple city houses, row homes down in Philly. Like, let's say I bought like 5 of those. I'm no longer going to be paying taxes, property taxes, for owning that. I'm only going to be paying like mortgages and things like that. If I took like a loan out to help buy it, I'm not going to be paying, monthly, yearly taxes on that property. So that's eliminating a specific cost. So then I can then put more money into, like, let's say I flip homes or something like that. I can put more money into it, and then it'll put people who like flip homes or are in realtor in selling homes. It will incentivize them to then be able to buy more or invest in lower income areas. That is like the perfect system, the perfect world kind of view of it. Now, like you said, not everyone's going to be, doing this. But even if some people do, I could see it being beneficial. I don't know. I think it would be a pretty interesting idea, and I don't like taxes, and that's one less tax.
Yeah, I just hate realtors. Just straight up. I don't want to help them.
I hate realtors.
I don't want to help them. I hate them. I'd rather help everybody else. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, that is all of the constitutional amendments in Pennsylvania, where we live, explained and everything like that. We will have all of the links in the description if you want to do more research into it, or anything like that.
Check out our other social medias. We're working on getting on Spotify too, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
So yeah, check us out on Facebook and on TikTok at, what is our podcast called? Divided We Fall. I wanted to call it A House Divided again.
No.
Divided We Fall. That House Divided sad face was instantly deleted when YouTube came for us. But yes, Divided We Fall on Facebook, on TikTok, and here on YouTube.
Cool.
I want to thank everyone for watching.